We are going to call the meeting to order at 7 o'clock. We're going to do roll call.
Ms. Cantwell? Here. Ms. Cloutier? Ms. Franklin? Here. Ms. Gaduti? Here. Mr. Heisman?
Here.
Ms. Kelleher? Mrs. Russ?
Here.
Mr. Schumann?
Here.
Mr. Zabrowski?
Here.
Mrs. Arnista? Here. Ms. Berry? Here. Mr. Bazzano?
Here.
Mrs. Biggington? Here. Mr. Butwell?
Here.
Mrs. Cocciolo? Here. Mrs. Demaro? Here. Mrs. DeTuno? Here. Mr. Cuckle? Okay, thank you. Dr. McLean? Here. Dr. Macri? Here. Ms. Maher? Here. Ms. Middlebrooks? Here. Mrs. O'Leary? Here. Ms. Shepherd? Here. Ms. Talmott? Here. Ms. Weiskell? Mr. LeMay?
Here.
Summer Tatro?
She's on her way.
Thank you. Marcel Judzik? Ania Raj? Here. And Sandy Talmott.
It's India, right?
India?
India.
Oh, sorry. India,
It's okay,
sorry.
honey, you correct us if we say it wrong.
Thank you.
Okay, there are no additions or deletions to tonight's agenda. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion. Second.
Second by Matt. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Okay, we will move on to correspondence. Have anything?
I do not.
Okay, easy. Public comment. Is anyone here to make a public comment? Going once, going twice. Okay. Public comments. Reports from liaisons. We do have reference A in our packets to review. I don't see any other committees present. Anyone have any question or feedback on reference A? Okay. And then, introduction of new student representatives. We have Ania Raj, welcome from CMS, and Marcel Dudzik from the high school. Welcome to both of you. We're so excited to have you.
And welcome back, Summer.
Thank you.
And, oh, Summer, sorry. I'm like,
She's an old shoe now.
welcome back, Summer. We're excited to have you back. Do you guys have any updates to share?
Yeah.
Okay. Summer, we can start with you.
Yeah, if you bring it close. Here you go.
Okay.
Alright. The school year has had a successful few weeks. Leading up to the beginning of the year, seniors participated in shed painting along with painting their parking spots with design of their choice if they wanted to. They turned out amazing. Thursday, September 5th, seniors participated in Senior Sunrise, watching the sunrise bright and early at 6:20 before class. Open house took place Wednesday the 4th, where parents were able to meet their children's teachers and get a feel for the school year their child has ahead of them. Student Council also hosted a bake sale during open house for senior scholarships. Duncan visited school lunches yesterday, and provided Dunkin' refresher samples along with a $5 Dunkin' gift card to each student at lunch along with staff. Students were very happy about that. And picture day will take place September 25th.
The fall sports games have started and are running smoothly. The boys soccer team played Monday the 9th against North Branford, which led to a win. Their next game is away on the 12th against Valley Regional. Girls soccer also played yesterday against Terryville with a very successful win. Their next game is tomorrow the 11th against Valley Regional. The girls volleyball season is starting off strong. They played yesterday the 9th, leading to an unfortunate loss. However, their next game is away tomorrow, the 11th, against Morgan. The boys football team has been hard at work practicing for their first game, which will be home on the 13th. Finally, the cross-country team had their first invitational on the 6th, leading to top times from Dylan Bathrick, Taylor Mooney, and Patrick Monahan. Their next meet is Their next meet is on the 14th against HK and Daniel Hand.
Thank you both. And Anaya?
Cromwell Middle School students have had an enjoyable first few weeks of school. Students have successfully transitioned back to our routines and are adjusting to our new schedules. We are all looking forward to a healthy and outstanding school year. Thank you to the SOAR committee for creating a beginning of the year SOAR kickoff assembly. SOAR is the CMS character skills program which builds in the soft skills students need to thrive. As Falcons, we can show compassion, overcome with tenacity, act responsibly, and respect ourselves, others, and the community. This program also supports other traits that fall under these umbrella terms, such as empathy, courage, growth mindset, grit, resilience, and ownership. Through the SOAR program, students will work to build personal skills and to incorporate these values into our school culture. This month's SOAR focus will be on student responsibility. Responsible students can even win prizes through the SOAR route. CMS students are excited to have the opportunity to play a small role in the construction of our new middle school. All students are invited to sign the final steel beam that will be placed on the building's frame this week. The girls and boys soccer season at CMS is underway. The girls team is coached by Ms. Humphrey and Mr. Willis. The boys team is coached by Mr. Anino and Mr. Glowa. Both teams are looking forward to the first games on Monday against Middletown. The CMS cross-country season off to a great start. The team has really enjoyed conditioning in the beautiful weather. Coach Murphy and Coach Bozzard are pleased with the turnout this season.
Thank you so much. I love that the CMS students are going to be able to sign the beam. I think that's so special for that building. Oh, that's awesome. You guys are welcome to stay, but feel free to leave as well. And thank you so much for the updates. We will move on to town collaboration updates.
Good job.
Yeah, Claudio, do you want to come up and give a quick town collaboration update?
Sure. Yeah.
Great.
You're on the spot.
Good evening. We continue to meet with the town discussing capital planning for at least the next 5 years and possibly stretch out maybe 10 years. Conversations have been ongoing. Today, conversation revolved around adding the town's capital planning. Similarly, as we've done with the schools using the Gordian report, we've detailed assets out 5 years and beyond. Now we want to include the towns, since it's the responsibility of the whole town, both town side, facilities, roads, public works, and the education in schools. That's where we are at this point. We'll continue having those meetings. We try to meet at least once every 2 weeks, and ultimately, once the details have been completed, it'll be brought to the town, finance committee, and council.
Great, thank you. Any questions? Okay, thank you very much. We will move on to superintendent's updates and responses to Board of Ed comments and action items from prior meeting.
As you heard from our students, it has been an excellent start of the school year. Today, Mr. Butwell and I did a big cheer. Buses all came on time and for the most part, but they got home on time, which is more important, before 30 cut. That takes a little while, especially with our choice buses, but there's a lot of construction, which is great for Cromwell, but it does hold up the buses. So we're moving in the right direction, so that's great. The students just seem so excited this year. I don't feel like everybody's sleeping at the high school, which is nice. That they're awake and they're ready to go. And the little ones are just unbelievable. And in the middle, they're just great. They're doing wonderful. So just a reminder to parents and everyone, we're going to talk a little bit about social media and phones, but whatever, and to kids especially, and we say it, and they think, they're invincible. Whatever you put in a phone, whatever you put in writing, it's very, very meaningful, and we take everything very seriously. And we have to do what we have to do. So really be careful. Monitor cell phone usage. Monitor what your kids are doing on social media. And to our students, please be careful, because you don't really know who you're talking to all the time, and you don't know where that information is going to get out and whose hands it's going to get into. So I just wanted to have that reminder, because it's been a rough start in that aspect. And the next thing I just would like to talk about is the steel beam 2. So the steel beam is out, and all the middle schoolers are signing it. However, WIS and ECS is going to be invited. The building committee is going to have an evening, and I don't know if that went out today. I'm not sure. I haven't looked at my own emails today. What went out? I approved it. Okay, good. So 5 to 7, 5 to 7 on the 12th. Any family who would like to bring their children to sign the beams are invited to come and sign the beams. Just be very careful. And they look great already. They started signing them, so they look nice. Walked by the school today, and it's just coming along so beautifully. So a huge thank you to everyone, Claudio and Lynn, who really are keeping an eye on that. It's great. And then we should talk about the welcome sign, the digital sign that you all voted for to approve. Unfortunately, that digital sign, we have an estimate between $90,000 and $120,000 to have a digital sign. We should have a digital sign. However, I think it's absolutely ludicrous for us to spend that much money. And so we were downgrading in furniture, and it's ridiculous. So I just want to make sure I fill you in on it, because you voted for it, and it'll probably come up. It will come up most likely tomorrow night, and then again on the 25th for you to vote. I highly encourage you to say, we're not going to have this sign. They are looking at other signs that are similar to the one that we have. We can't move that one. It's broken. Polly Scalora tries to keep it together, but with glue and tape. So we just have to let it go. It would have been nice, but we have other things that are very important. And that is it. We have our building committee meeting tomorrow evening, a special meeting to talk about things like FF&E, and then the design committee is going to be meeting, and then we'll have our joint meeting on September 25th that I'm looking forward to. And those are my updates.
Thank you. Mr. Butwell, would you like to come up and give us a budget update?
Kelly, can I ask a quick question before that? I just have no way of raising my hand over here.
Oh, yeah, sorry, Catherine.
Sorry. You mentioned, Dr. Macri, about sign and also on some of the things inside the building for FF&E. And are we cutting the cost to try and work a more expensive sign, or are we just cutting the cost because we need to?
No, it's so you will ultimately have the final vote. I'm just encouraging you to decide to spend the money elsewhere. The sign is so expensive that we could use some of that money to get better furniture. We've stayed within the budget of the furniture all along, and they've had dropped off many samples, and unfortunately for poor Patrick from Suburban, my nose is stuck in everything, and I've sat on every chair and everything, and so has Aunt Cochiola, and some stuff, teachers' desks, I just didn't think were what we should be getting for the schools. I didn't think they were of quality. So they brought other samples that actually got some today. They're sending other things, and they look much better, a higher grade. So we're going to replace the money.
And how many quotes for the electronic money did you get? Do they all fall in the same spot? Because usually we do.
We're not allowed to with this, because if this is what I understand, and Claudio, please correct me if I'm wrong. The job was bid by an electrician, the whole job, a job as a whole.
Like any large project.
Can you come to the mic just so Catherine can hear you? I'm sorry. Catherine, Claudio's going to explain it just so.
Like any large project, all the electrical work has already been out. Now, when there's an addition, in this case, it would be something that wasn't originally part of the plan. When a new component is called a change order, that electrician that's been hired for the project is the one who prices out any changes. we don't have the capacity to hire a whole other electrician and go out to bid. It's not done that way, because then there's always a conflict between an existing electrician that you've hired to do the whole project and piecemealing little pieces. I don't know if that explains the answer.
We're going off of the quote that the electrician got for the sign.
Correct.
And that quote includes the cost of the sign and it's the installation of it.
No, it's all. They're all separate. There's the cost for the sign. There's the cost for the framing around it. There's a cost for the electrical sign. There's a cost for a regular sign. There's a cost for the brick and the stand that'll hold the new sign. Plus, there's all the wiring that goes from the building all the way out to the road. And that tends to be the largest expense because it's such a far distance to carry wire. As a precaution, the conduit was already installed, and the conduit is basically a hollow tube that would carry the wires. So that's already there underground. And if in the future we decide that we can find the funding for it, we can put a sign there without having to dig up the parking lot or the grounds.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
What did we originally budget? Matt, I have the same question. What did we budget for the sign to begin with? What did we
Electronic
estimate?
sign.
When we voted on it, what were we thinking it was gonna cost us?
My memory serves me correctly, we were told that if we got something similar to the fire department, it would be around $30,000.
And that's what the sign, just the electronic sign. I might as well stay here with them. Just the electronic component, just the sign itself is about 30,000. The infrastructure, the installation, where it's gonna stand, all that is what's ballooned the cost, slightly out of proportion.
Claudio, stay there for 1 second. Sorry, I'm sorry, man. So, all right, you said that because we already have a contract with an electrician, so we have to go through the electrician for this sign. Once the entire project, meaning the whole school is completed, right?
Mhm.
And we get the CO, and the school opens, and the kids are in it, everyone's job is done, everyone's paid out, including the electrician.
Then you're gonna hire anybody you
We
want.
can hire anybody we want at that point. So we could go out to bid if you wanted to in like 2 or 3 years and do it that way.
Even less, as long as you have some funding to support it, we could always go out, get a price to install it, and then work towards funding it. I mean, if we have a plan, that's why I said it can't be done down the road. We can have fundraisers, there's so many ways
Well, and
that we
having
can
the-
come with it. And
Having the conduit in there is just good foresight. Because
it's enormous because you don't have to dig up the parking lot. You're not gonna disturb and destroy something you've already built.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions for Dr. Macri? Okay, Mr. Vogt?
Hi, everyone. As promised last month, we were able to get all of our budget items for the 2023-24 school year wrapped up and paid off and closed. And as you can see from the enclosed memo, we had a surplus of $1,426. So at this point, that chapter is closed, and we are now opening the chapter of the 24-25 school year. So that's where we are.
Any questions? Okay, thank you.
If I could, I just wanted to add, there was a question last month about the leftover lunch charges and what happened to those, so I just wanted to follow up if that was okay. I found out that at the end of the last school year, we had approximately $19,000 in unpaid school lunch bills, student lunch bills. Usually, the LEA would be the agency that would pay that amount off. However, this year, the USDA allowed school lunch programs that had a positive balance to take care of that student debt, and so that's what our program did. So it was paid off. So all students started the year with a fresh account.
And we are approximately $2,000 in debt as of today already. So pay your lunches. Yes, just for lunches.
Just a quick, I think we can't lose that we ended the year in a positive way, and I think we just need to congratulate and thank everybody that made that happen, because it didn't look like that all year round, and I know it was a tremendous amount of work and thoughtful and very efficient decisions about what to buy, so thank you very much for that.
You're welcome. That is my expertise. When you grow up with very little, you learn how to make it work. But I don't want our kids to not have everything, so, but we did it. And Mr. Butler was a huge help, and the whole team in the financial office, all three of you, all four of you. Mr. Butler had to learn very quickly, and I wouldn't have wanted to land this plane with anybody else. So thank you for your work.
Thank you. The team did a great job, and they really supported me coming in at the last moment, so I appreciate their help.
And our state report where we can actually get fined, Mr. Butler got it done, and it was giving us errors, and he did not quit until he figured out how to get that report done. That is submitted, and we are good.
I'm glad it's done.
He has 5,000 notes for next year.
Thank you, Mr. Butwell, and thank you for following up on the school lunch question.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
We will move on to new business. Just a quick welcome to the new staff. We had a nice welcome reception before this meeting just to welcome the new teachers and welcome all of the teachers and administration back for the year. Is there any new teachers or staff present? I don't think so. Okay. So, but just had a nice welcome for them. Got to meet everyone, which was great. There is reference C, an update to the educator diversity plan, and it is an action item. Do you want to cover that really quick?
Sure. Ms. DeMoro and Dr. McLean are going to actually come up. The State Department of Education, statutorily, we have to present an educator diversity plan. We did. They returned about 98% of them to the districts with your plan's okay, but it needs work. So we have been working very diligently, especially Dr. McLean and Michelle DeMoro, and this is what we have, and we need to submit it with your approval by October 1st. So if you want to just quickly review it, that would be great, high-level overview.
Yes, so we received a conditional approval from the state. We brought this to you earlier this school year for approval. And the 3 areas that they felt that we needed some additional work on was a clearer theory of action, which we revised the theory of action. The other section 2 that they wanted was more people to be responsible for some of the areas that we need to diversify our workforce. And so we actually put different people who owns this on our Excel spreadsheet, which we got from the State Department of Ed. And we worked very closely with the Connecticut State Department of Ed, and I believe, is it correct, in ACES. They provided us with feedback with some of the things that we've updated with here. And the third thing that they wanted us to update was our mitigation strategies. Just saying that we don't have enough funding, they wanted something else. So we don't have enough funding, but what are we gonna try to do to get that funding? So those are things that we've updated and made changes to. And again, we worked very closely with ACES, and we feel that hopefully that this is an educator diversity plan that will get accepted by the state.
We're going to, so one of the major strategies is that we're going to develop a district-wide hiring committee so that we can really establish our hiring protocols to make sure that we are streamlining and interviewing as many people as possible, and establish some metrics in terms of who we're hiring and how many people we're screening in interviews and things like that. So that's really the big strategy. We're going to begin that in October. We already have the meeting dates set. We've brought in ACES to help us with that, to run that committee, because they work closely with the State Department, so they understand, what's going on and what the expectations are. So we're going to start that committee starting in October, and that will go through the year, and hopefully we'll establish some pretty clear protocols for what the expectations are for hiring in the district.
Thank you for that overview. Does anyone have any questions? Okay, does anyone want to make a motion to approve?
Motion.
Alan, seconded by Matt. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? All right, motion carries. Next is the revised 2024-2025 calendar. It looks like the only change was moving the SATs from October 9th to the 16th. Correct. we don't need to approve that. That's
You
just
do.
informational. Oh, it is?
I'm sorry, you actually, revised district, I do actually need your approval for that.
Okay.
I didn't realize that it wasn't there.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve the revised? By Alicia, second by Lori. All in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Okay. D is the, reference E is the budget calendar 2025-2026. Anyone have any, there's nothing we have to do on
No,
that. Okay, informational. Any questions on that? Okay. Next, we are inviting the principals up just to give us a brief overview of the opening of schools and each school's cell phone use protocol. Ms. Tuna?
I wanted to start by congratulating Christina Matiskevich, the District Teacher of the Year. She is truly a dedicated and committed teacher. She did an amazing job at her convocation speech, and we're just so very proud of her. The start of our school year was filled with reviewing rules, procedures, mostly getting to know our students. We had our first fire drill and lockdown drill last week, and our students did an amazing job with following all of the safety procedures. Our K-2 students began implementing our new core reading program called Bookworms. We've been preparing this since last year. The excitement of getting the program and all the new books that came with it, with the help of our students, will continue to grow their reading, to grow them fast in their reading. Our math interventionists have been meeting, attending trainings, and working on assessments, all to prepare our students. We must also mention PTO. They are amazing, and they've provided our staff with a beautiful lunch on the second day of school, and have tons of fun activities and events planned for the year. Last night we had our which was well attended. Great to see all the families that attended, and our teachers shared what a typical day looks like and all the curriculum. And then on Thursday night, grade 1 and grade 2 have open house as well. So we are off to a great start. As far as cell phones go, our students don't have them.
Great, thank you. Ms. Binghamton? Mrs. Binghamton. Binghamton. It's hard.
It is a mouthful. Binnington. My maiden name was even harder, if you would believe that. But that's a story for another day. Woodside is off to a fantastic start. Our students have done a tremendous job of acclimating back into the classrooms. We have lots of new staff, and we are celebrating them. And in true Woodside way, their teams are supporting them phenomenally. Along with Ashley and Sari, we've hired some new special education staff, and they've come over. Amy and Julie are supporting Eric and Sarah with the coaching in the classrooms to make sure our new teachers understand our expectations. As we, shift towards the science of reading, we just got our bookworms actual materials yesterday. So our reading interventionists and math interventionists who haven't started meeting with students yet are feverishly stamping and delivering those materials. We're finding ways to have additional PLCs during the week so that our teachers who are rolling out this new curriculum are getting as much support as possible. They're really, really thankful for that. 4th and 5th grade are continuing to write their units that are going to align with state standards and the new expectations. Math is the Bridges program that we've had for years, but we are beginning to look at, continuing to look at how we can raise that rigor with that curriculum and make sure that we're bringing our students to that next level, introducing collaborative problem solving time within their daily math blocks. Our open house is tomorrow night, 6:30 to 8, so we look forward to seeing all of our Woodside families here with us. And Mr. McCabe asked me to give a special shout out to our 4th grade students who are interested in joining band this year. He will be available in the gymnasium for between 6:30 and 8. 4th grade students are welcome to join him between 7 and 7:30 to kind of test out the instruments, and Mr. Schmidt from the high school is coming down with some of our wonderful band members at the high school to introduce the students to the instruments. 6:30 to 7, and then 7:30 to 8, Mr. McCabe will be available to meet with parents to talk to them about the expectations of band. And to second Ms. Tuno, huge thank you to the PTO, who does a tremendous job of supporting our students and making them feel the love as they come back into the building after the summer. And we recognize that our students have cell phones, though we do not want to see them within the walls of Woodside Intermediate School. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, middle school, Miss Cochiola.
Oh, there it is. Good evening, everyone. We too at CMS had an absolutely fabulous opening. I too want to give a shout out to our CMS PTO that are always supporting us, but also provided our staff with a really great welcoming lunch on our opening day. We had a great opening with our students. On our day 2, we brought all the students in by grade level, and we met with them, with teachers and Andrea and I, and definitely welcoming them all of them back, and setting the positive expectations for the year. It was really a great way to just say hello to all the kids right away in the beginning of the year. Also, the next Wednesday, we had what was known as our SOAR kickoff, and that you've heard Ania talk about that. We met as a whole CMS community in the auditorium to get the kids really excited and understand why, we feel it's so important that these character attributes are something that students can embrace and work with throughout the year. And as a matter of fact, we're beginning this year as kind of a just to get them excited about a raffle that they can participate in, and it's all focused around responsibility. So we're going to focus on each one of those attributes as the year goes on, and give kids an opportunity to, become part of that character trait in an active way. So it's been a great opening, and everybody's really excited about it at CMS. As far as our cell phone policy, I feel like we've been ahead of the game on this one. Our cell phone policy has been, even since I came back as principal, that cell phones are to be turned off and put away and not to be used throughout the whole day. We have Chromebooks. We're very fortunate. We have one-to-one devices that our students can use. So really the use of the phone as a technological device for kids to use for instruction isn't necessary. So to put those away for a distraction, lock them up, put them away. We do make sure we emphasize that with kids. It's not because we want to ruin their social lives. It's just we only have them for a short amount of time, and we want all their attention for the whole day. Our policy is if we see, and they're not allowed to use them in the hallways, at lunch, even their Chromebooks are not to be used at lunch. We want kids to interact with one another socially at lunch, and not have their faces and devices. We do have the policy where if we don't go searching, we don't do any of that, but if we see a phone, we will take it, and it's sent down to the office where we log it, and then the student can come back and get it at the end of the day. If it's a second offense, then we have a parent come and pick up the phone, because we just feel very strongly that we just want those distractions away. And students, no matter what you may hear, are always allowed to come to the office and call their folks. They don't have to work. They can always come there, and they're allowed to bring their phones, because sometimes, even myself, you forget your phone numbers because they're logged into the phone, so they can bring their phones with them to the office, whether it is to call their parent or to text them. So they're always have access to their families. And that's our cell phone policy at CMS. Questions? Okay, thank you.
All right, Mr. Cuckle?
Yep. All right, Cromwell High School. This year, off to a great start. A lot of good energy in the building this year, and I would say it started for the first time. We did our senior painting of the parking spots during the first 2 days of teacher workdays. And that was really a great opportunity. We had a lot of seniors out there, summer included. She did ruin my shoes. She did spill paint that got on. It's okay, we're related, we're cousins, I can tease her. But it was a wonderful moment because we were able to have students out there. They were painting their spots. If you haven't seen them, they did a phenomenal job again. And our teachers were here, so they were able to go out. So it was a really great start to the school year where we had those bonding moments between staff, students. And then since they've come in the building, it's just been great. I feel like we started off the year extremely strong. Students know what they're doing. We've gotten right to learning right away. We've been doing some special things and have some special things lined up for Mondays to, encourage students to show up on Monday. So yesterday we had a Dunkin' relationship there where they came in, they gave $5 gift cards and these little mini refreshers to our students. Next Monday we have a therapy dog coming in for students that are interested. Again, just trying to encourage that, get up, let's go, let's get to school. Targeting our chronic absenteeism rates that we have. Our sports are started as well, and we do have our first Friday night football game coming up this Friday at Pearson Park. But again, all sports have started. Girls soccer is tomorrow as well, their first home game. And our open house, we tried something a little different there as well, just to increase parent participation. And we did a fun raffle, and we ended up having probably our biggest turnout at open house since pre-pandemic. And again, same thing, a lot of really good energy in the building, a lot of parents excited, having a good time. And this week we have our class meetings, and we're starting those off. And really, overall, it's just been a really good energy in the building this year with our students and our staff. Everyone's feeling really good, refreshed, getting to learning. And for us at the high school, our kids are learning about the big NEASC trip that we have coming up. So we are informing students everything about that. We started in Connections this past Monday, and the next 2 weeks we'll be doing the same thing, where we really just let students know what this is, what it looks like, what's going to happen, and where we're looking to grow and improve. But overall, it's been an exceptional start to the school year at Cromwell High School. And in terms of cell phones, we do allow a little bit more responsibility on their end, a little bit more freedom. So no cell phones during class or support blocks, our academic support, math lab, things like that. Cell phone should not be out. It should be away. We do have a pretty clear system in terms of consequences for that. But we do allow students in study hall and lunch and passing time in the hallways to use their phones as needed. And that's pretty much it.
Any questions? I love the fun Mondays. And
yeah,
I wish I had that on a Monday.
Yeah, that was
nice little, yeah.
It worked out, yeah. I thought it was a scam at first, and I reached out, and it was legit, yeah. And they do others, so it worked out well, and they might have other opportunities, and we'll take advantage of that. So it's good.
Thank you. Okay, next is reference F, and it is the Policy Committee Annual Report. Any questions on that? Thank you, Lori, for putting it together. Okay. Next is approval of minutes from the August 13th meeting. They looked fine to me. Did anyone have any changes? Yeah. All right. Is there a motion to approve? Okay. By Matt. Second. By Steve. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Alicia and Lori. Abstain. Okay. Motion carries. Next is reference H, stipend approval. Dr. Macri, you want to walk through that? Or?
Sure. I'll call Ms. Morrow up for stipend approval. Hi, yes. So the stipends set forward are the stipends that were posted just recently that were still open, and the names are the people that were interviewed or selected for the stipend positions.
Any questions? Okay. Is there a motion to approve? Motion by Alan, second by Matt. All in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Thank you. And then reference I, Informational Human Resources Report. Did anyone have any questions on that?
I just want to.
Yeah.
Is that okay? I just would really like to acknowledge Linda Libera. She is retiring, and she has been with the finance. She's been employed in Cromwell since 1997. I can't believe that the last day I'm going to get to see her face is going to be Thursday at that front office. She has been a tremendous help to the school district in so many ways, and a huge help with onboarding Mr. Butwell. We are going to miss her, and she is in the process of training someone who did get the position. But we wish her the very best of luck. The office won't be the same without her, but we are just so happy for her.
Okay. And we will move on to principal reports. Reference J, K, L, and M. Any feedback or questions from the board? No? Okay. There are no first read policies. We have 4 second read up. Were there any questions on those? Okay, you guys are making this easy for me tonight. Is there a motion to approve policies A through D? Motion by Lori. Second by Alicia. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Abstentions? Motions carry. Board committee reports. Reference R. There is none for policy, none for facilities and technology. Any questions on those? Nope. Okay. Topics for future agendas. The only change is the ESS update in October. The funding, the $150,000 coming for the middle school hasn't hit the account yet, so ESS is asking to move that update just to the December update so they have a little bit more to talk about. Is everyone okay with that? Okay, so there won't be one just in December. So we will take that off for October and just expect that in December. And then comments, updates, or announcements from board members. Steve, we'll start with you. Nothing. Alicia.
Just a comment on the Fun Mondays. I got lots of feedback from freshmen in high school that thought that was just the coolest thing, that they got Dunkin' gift cards, and they really have had a warm welcome. So, it's hard being the new kids on the block, walking into a brand new school and being the smallest, and they really felt very welcomed. And so far, so good. Thumbs up from a whole bunch of freshmen that shared that with me this weekend.
Okay. Nothing. Dr. McRae.
I don't feel like I say this enough publicly. It does start at the top, meaning all of you, and you are amazing, and I believe that's why we have an amazing school system. I want to thank every single administrator in this room that works in this school district. I cannot tell you how I could call any of these people at any time, or they could call each other, and the collaboration that just makes this place move so quickly. And that does not happen in every district. So we have worked really hard to build a winning team. We have it. From directors to principals to assistant principals. I just cannot thank all of you enough. And I really think it's important for everyone to know I don't have any slackers. Everyone works really hard, from the curriculum department, who we are just doing amazing with getting orders in. Districts don't have their books. They can't get started. They're coming to Claudio. You hear from him, to Mr. Butwell. There isn't a person in this room, special education, who will get back to you as soon as possible. They're hardworking, they're caring, they're problem solvers, and they're committed. And I think it's really important because we get yelled at a lot, and they do too. And I just want you to hear from someone that listens to them getting yelled at and then gets yelled at for them, that they are just amazing, and our children are truly blessed to have these leaders working for them and serving them.
Thank you. Lori? Alan? Matt?
Don't worry, no questions. It'll be quick. Actually, the feedback that I've gotten from my own children and some of their friends and some of the high school kids that I've spoken to in the neighborhood, you know, when you talked about the beginning of the school year, it's all, how is it? What do you think of your teachers? The one thing that really came across all the groups that I've spoken to, you know, all schools really, kids from all schools, is the relationships that your teachers are forming with the kids. It really comes through when they talk about it. They talk about how friendly this teacher is, how this one's really funny, how this one jokes about my hair, and all of those things are relationship building, and that's what drives the learning in the classroom, right? We all know as educators, when we connect with our students, they're more apt to be receptive to what we're trying to teach them, even when it's really hard. So, you know, congratulate your staff, because they're, from everything I'm hearing, the relationships that they're building are really setting the foundation for this year. And I'm really, really proud of everything that I've heard, and really, really psyched for these kids. So just pass that along to your teachers if you don't mind.
Catherine, do you have anything?
No, I'm all set, thank you.
Okay, so we will adjourn public session at 7:46 p.m. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.
Thanks, everyone.